You're just in time for a deep dive into how 6G could completely transform the shape of the traditional networks. And turns out, sky's the limit. So let's jump right in. How are you guys envisioning new network topologies for 6G?
So we're going from the core to the edge of the network, and AI and virtualization is disrupting and changing how our networks are deployed and operated, and enabling all sorts of new devices to come online. And as we see in today's networks with 5G, NTNs or non-terrestrial networks are just starting to get their footing and will be expanding through this mid-cycle of 5G. And as we look forward to 6G, and as that ramps up, there'll be these terrestrial and non-terrestrial networks will be converging to provide that new topology that you're describing.
Without getting too much into the weeds, what role will satellite networks play in these new networks in 6G with these new network topologies?
So the ecosystem is really starting to roll out, and the role is to connect the unconnected and enable new use cases. And there's still somewhere around 17, 18 million people in the United States that don't have access to internet services or reliable high-speed internet services, and that's just one example. You've seen other use cases with Apple pioneering some of the SOS messaging. So I think new use cases like safety and security, new use cases like connecting the unconnected, it's really about finding an economical way to expand the coverage so that we have a robust, always-on communication network.
Can you talk to me a little bit about how advancements in antenna design, beamforming, and other hardware innovations are influencing NTN capabilities and making it so that maybe it is possible to do more than just text?
Absolutely. The innovations in the antenna design and beamforming are critical. So you got the two key ones there, right? To enhancing the performance of these NTNs. What we have are things like called adaptive beamforming techniques, which allow the satellites to really adjust their signal coverage and move their signal coverage as needed. This is going to both improve the capacity of the network, how many devices can be supported, but also the signal quality, and all the while managing the interference. Because you've got these signals coming from space, you've got ground, cellular networks, and these are all going to have to work together. And these phased arrays that are formed on both the satellite and on the device are amazing pieces of technology that are going to be fundamental moving forward in all sorts of parts of the networks. The non-terrestrial networks and even the terrestrial networks are really going to be foundational. The phased arrays will be foundational to their meeting the demand requirements in today and 5G, and then moving forward to 6G. Keysight has been partnering with folks like Analog Devices in testing and reducing the complexity and cost of these phased arrays so that they can be deployed in these use cases. And I have no doubt this is going to continue moving forward.
Satellites are expensive. So talk to me about business models. How will business models evolve for NTNs, and especially when 6G comes along?
Yes, it is expensive to deploy satellite networks, but they are doing that at a fraction of the cost that historically we would see with deploying satellites. And as that investment has dropped because of lower launch costs and lower satellite development costs and production costs, the business model really starts to come together quickly. And clearly, you hit the nail on the head. If the revenue's not there, if the users aren't willing to pay a bit more, for their service, maybe this doesn't play out. But in fact, we do believe, and the modeling is showing, there's been a lot of surveys that show 30% of users would pay something more to have this always-on connectivity. They'd pay, whether that's $1 more, $5 more, $20 more. There's going to be a bit of pricing that is going to get tested in the market.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll certainly see what happens with T-Mobile's beta test that's going on. I think they're charging anywhere from $10 to $20. So back to your point about price points, we're going to see how that plays out. Well, that seems like a great place to leave it. Thank you so much.
All right.